It's kind of like the boy who cried wolf in a way, sort of, no? So, through the dredge of very real anti-Semitism, those who haven't been living under a rock for the last 7 years know that some of the worst people in politics have weaponized it. Yet, this development is one of the first I've seen of those peddling the smears getting their comeuppance. Disgraced Labour councillor Jack Deacon facing legal action after libelous tweet. Jack Deacon, Labour councillor for the Athens Cross ward in Birmingham, is facing a potential legal battle from 4 Green Party councillors who claim he has committed libel against them. The 4 Green councillors in question, Ekowa Bayunu, Joe Bird, Kevin Freer and Heather Skibsted, all chose to defect from the Labour Party in recent months as they believe that the party is increasingly centralised, authoritarian and dysfunctional, which is true, as reported on Bright Green. Now, this is what Deacon tweeted after noting their departure. The Green Party, proud to host your anti-Semites for you. Put that on a billboard, Bab. Now, that is a shocking tweet, accusing people of anti-Semitism for simply moving to a different political party. That's how bad the smears got. The charge of anti-Semitism no longer came from discussions surrounding Israel, but simply being on the left made you a target, which all of us are very aware of. But I'm happy to announce that Deacon won't be getting away with his tweets as the councillors are taking action. This is their statement on their crowdfunder. We have learned from many people's bitter experience that to take no effective challenge to smears increases the risk of further libel and damage, no matter how vexatious or evidence-free the allegations are. Such allegations undermine all forms of anti-racism and could be damaging for many elected Green Party representatives and members. We want to nip this in the bud and send a clear message to everyone that anti-Semitism is a serious form of racism, and casually throwing around unfounded allegations undermines the real struggles by Jewish people and their allies to fight real cases of anti-Semitism. Now, I want to echo that last statement, as I always do when talking about this subject, that those of us who call out the weaponization of anti-Semitism do not deny it exists. That's a ludicrous position. And I also think it definitely exists on the left, which I've called out before. In fact, and viewers of this channel may disagree, but I was never a big fan of the "It's a Scam" hashtag, because even though many good people used it, there was still a lot of, who I felt had a blind spot to anti-Semitism on the left. Now, it's 100% a small minority of those on the left who show anti-Semitic tendencies, but it's our job as socialists to call it out wherever it crops up, because that is what socialism is all about. However, these people who weaponize it are the worst kinds of people. They hurt people and communities, whilst at the same time virtue signal and pretend to be morally righteous. It's important that the weaponization is called out and pushed back on. Otherwise, this is, it's going to keep happening. It's also worth noting that Joe Bird is Jewish and she has been on the end of anti-Semitic attacks. This is from a post in November 2021 describing a local council meeting in Wirral. Joe Bird has certainly been put through a welter of undeserved crap locally and nationally by hating Labour Tories and hating Tories in her time as a Wirral councillor. I logged a standards complaint against 3 councillors some years ago after they were directly anti-Semitic towards her, along with 20 plus of their colleagues who got up and walked out as she tried to educate them on the horrors of the Holocaust and how it had impacted her own family. The media, both locally and nationally, fell selectively silent on it. This was a clear-cut case of anti-Semitism and an obvious standards breach, all explained in very close detail, but senior council officers got together and saw to it that it failed. This is what makes the weaponization of anti-Semitism so gross, is that people have used it against Jewish people on the left who have obviously experienced their own anti-Semitism. Yet the mainstream media still doesn't acknowledge that. They almost pretend that there are no left-wing Jewish people. In order to fight racism, you also have to call out the weaponization of it and attack those who use it for factional purposes. If we don't, then we don't defeat racism, plain and simple. Now, I'm happy for the Green councillors who are standing their ground, and I hope to see more of this against the weaponization of racism, whilst also speaking up against genuine racism wherever it appears.